Hello everyone. So I wanted to do, I've been meaning to do this for a little while and the summer has just been crazy. This autumn is going to be crazy too, but I have a couple of hours this Sunday afternoon and I thought what I would just do is film 2 or 3 videos showing you my current faith planner setup, some Bible journaling things, and talking about different ways you can configure different aspects of that in your own personal devotional life. So this is not meant to be, this is the only way to do this. This is not the right way to do this. This is just me sharing what I do at the moment, which I have to say is working for me better than anything has done for quite a long time. I mean, come back in, a year's time and I'll almost certainly be doing something completely different. But I do think it's important to have some kind of a habit of regular devotional time just with you and the Lord, reading His Word and praying. If that's not something that you have as a regular habit, I really would encourage you to think about how you could build that in to part of your daily routine and your weekly routine. I mean, I say that. I've been a Christian for nearly 30 years and I probably have had more of that 30 years than not where I've not been in a good habit of doing this. So I am by no means the expert. Some people are really good at routine and habits and they decide to do something every day and they do it. My life is not like that. My life is quite a lot more chaotic. My working patterns are a bit more chaotic. And so I'm not here to say if you're not doing this right, you know, then you're somehow being a Christian wrong or whatever. But I do know that in the times where I have a good habit of spending time regularly with the Lord, everything else in my life becomes so much easier to cope with, and I never regret doing it. So having said that, I want to just show you what I'm doing. It feels like a really complicated system, but actually on a day-to-day basis, it works for me and it's not that complicated. So what I thought I would do in this video is just kind of show all the different bits in sort of overview. And then I plan to do a series of videos focusing on each of those sections in a bit more detail. So I'm going to start with this. This is my Traveller's Notebook. I really love this. It's pink cover with gold foiling that says Praise the Lord. And a lovely American friend of mine bought this for me in Michael's. We had a really fun experience where she went shopping in Michael's and we were tweeting each other and she kept showing me photos and I was like, I want that one and I want that one. And then she put a big parcel together. And so I have a lot of lovely goodies. And so inside, I'm not going to show you all the details of this, as I say, because I am going to do a more in-depth thing. But inside here, I have 3 notebooks, 2 of which I use every day and 1 of which is for Sundays. So the first everyday notebook is my liturgy notebook. This is based on Church of England morning prayer. And you can see I have prayers printed out. And it also has reminders, read the psalm here. And it ends with the Lord's Prayer. And that is the signal for me to get to the next notebook. It also, by the way, has evening prayer at the back. I don't do that nearly as often, but it is there if I need it. So the second notebook, this is what I'm using for the Lord's Prayer. And I mean, I say every day, it's not every day, but quite a lot of days, I try and use this to write my own paraphrase of the Lord's Prayer and expand on it and include particular things that are on my heart to pray for. And so some days it focuses on just one section of the Lord's Prayer. Some days it works through the whole thing, but I write that out in this notebook. So that's the liturgy, that's the Lord's Prayer. And then this is the Sunday notebook, which I've not actually started using this yet. This one I have put together using an Illustrated Faith Bible journaling kit. You can get hold of these in the UK. Ellie Beth Designs has some in her shop. Hey Little Magpie sometimes have them in their shop as well. You can also import them from the US. Whichever way you buy them, shipping from America just is really expensive. So this is not a cheap thing. And I don't always have an Illustrated Faith kit here. And when I come to talk about my Sunday routine, I'm going to show you some of the other things that I do in this section. But this is what I've got at the moment. And so it's a notebook here, and I've put the journaling cards and used some of the kit here to set this up to work through in there. So that's the sort of daily prayers and kit, and that goes alongside with this. Now this is my happy planner. It is a big happy planner. It is slightly bigger therefore than the classic happy planner, and it's a lot bigger than the mini happy planner. This is not specifically a faith planner. You can get faith planners. I think there's even a faith happy planner. I could be wrong about that, but this is not that. But I kind of love the cover of it, and I love the way it's set up. So again, I'll show you this in more detail in a separate video, but I want to just show you a bit of how this works together with my Traveller's Notebook. So let me move to September, where we currently are. And so for each month I have, here's the September cover page, and here, let me just move that so you can definitely see it. This is the sort of goals page in a traditional happy planner. And if you look at one of the pages that I have not yet done anything to, it includes space for things like birthdays, projects, goals, important dates, special events, appointments, and don't forget. I mean, you know, there's no reason not to just keep it like that and have that as part of your thing. And it could be you remember to pray for people on their birthdays, special events that you want to remember to pray for, faith goals. That is a thing which I do. But it doesn't quite work for me. I don't need so many different spaces, basically. So what I have been doing is customizing this page, and this is particularly customized. I've put a lot of stickers to cover this whole page, but not all of them are that stickered up. You can see this is mostly the background, and then I've just used the sections the way that I want. And on this page, I'm keeping a record of the Bible reading that I've done that month. I'm keeping a record of the books that I've read that month. And I have to say, since I've been keeping a record of it, I've read a lot more Christian books because it's really satisfying ticking them off. I'm keeping a record here. One of my goals I found when I was doing specific goals was, I'm really rubbish at being at church on time on Sundays. So I was like, that's a goal. I want to be at church on time. So I have all the Sundays listed there. And when I make it to church on time, I tick them off. I wasn't at church last Sunday, but I was on time this morning. So I will tick that later. I have a section where I put things I'm particularly thankful for that month. And then some other things to remember, like, for example, our church prayer meeting. And I have a verse of the month that I also write out on that page. So that's the sort of setup page for the month. The monthly calendar, and I use that for filling in things that I'm grateful for every day. I haven't done that for a couple of days. Need to get on with that. And then this is sort of where the meat of it happens. Now, I will talk you through more of this in the detailed video, but each day I have a section, and as I read through my Bible reading for that day, I use this section for taking notes. And I try and do it. Let me show you, I've done this a bit more obviously here. I try and do it so that there's at least one thing that I'm praising God for and one thing I'm praying for based on the Bible reading that I've done. So that's what I set that up, and you'll see I divide this into 6 sections, and that's because, again, as I say, I do a different thing on Sundays, and that's in the other section. And then in the columns on the side, sometimes I have answered prayer, sometimes I have reminders of things, sometimes I just have stickers, and sometimes I use that for more space for the things for the Bible reading. The thing I really love about doing this in a happy planner is the discbound system. I have a hole punch that works with the system, which means it's very easy for me to do things outside of the planner. You see I did this sort of Leviticus summary things that I want to think about, and I just punched that, and then I could slip that in there. And on the sort of daily, weekly basis, what that means is the week that I have set up for that, I also have punched and included in here my church prayer diary, a couple of other things that I pray for regularly, and I also use a sheet from, this is a revision planner that I bought in Tesco, but it just has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, weekend, and I have a sort of regular list that I update this every month, things I want to remember to pray for every day, and then also a sheet that I use just for 1 week at a time, where each day I write some things that I want to pray for specifically, and often those will be things to do with what work I've got on that day, or who I'm seeing, or things following up a bit more from the Bible reading that I've done. So that's all there. Now it looks very complicated. The thing that's brilliant again about the Happy Planner is you can just take pages out and stick them back in. So if I'm traveling, I don't take this big thing with me. I just take out the pages that I need, slip them inside the traveller's notebook along with the prayer diaries, and there's a string in the back that I keep empty that I use for that. And so that's all I actually need to take with me. But then when I bring it back, I can put everything back in here and keep it all together. So that's my sort of daily faith planner. And you'll notice that I do decorate this. I use stickers, I use pens, I use all kinds of stamps sometimes. I use a lot of washi tape. Because some of this was from this is slightly hacked together. Some of this was from a dated Happy Planner, and so one of the things that I've wanted to do is cover up the dates, and also it's a vertical planner and I use it horizontally, and so I cover up the day labels there. So I use quite a lot of, this is beautiful washi tape. This was from Cocoa Daisy. Oh, and this was also very beautiful washi tape. This was from Liberty. And then this was some Faith washi tape from Michaels. But you know, you can use whatever you've got. It doesn't have to be specifically faith-based. You can see quite a lot of these are just, you know, pretty stickers, hearts and butterflies. And, you know, this is just a little heart, washi tape, all sorts of stuff, you know. So whatever you've got, but I do like to decorate this, and I do have, it's running out, but I do have some Illustrated Faith Amen washi tape, and I quite often will rip a little bit of this off every day, and just to kind of mark that I've done that day with an Amen. And you can see here, this was something from a Bible study group where we all wrote down specific prayers, and I punched mine to keep in my planner. So I like that. It's nice because you can keep all sorts of stuff together. If there's some sermon notes you particularly want to keep, you can put them in. If you've got prayer diaries from different places, you can slip them in there, and you can customize it yourself. And then I also just have right at the back a list of, I'm reading through the Bible in a year, and so that's where I keep my list and check off when I've done each book. So that's my second thing. I've got the Traveller's Notebook and the Faith Planner. Got some other things that I sometimes use. I've at various times during the year, I've been doing scripture writing. So this was what I did in Lent. And so this was just a notebook that I set up with dates, and again, decorated a little bit. Set up a schedule at the front, which I didn't really keep to. But I wrote out John 13 to 21, and I really liked doing that, and I plan to do more scripture writing like that in the future. So this is set up, this is a notebook where I decorated the front, and I've started doing this a little while ago, working through Luke's Gospel, which is sort of paused at the moment, but I plan to go through that more. And mostly I just write, but occasionally you can see I'll do something with a little bit of typography, or occasionally a little doodle illustration or something like that. So I have that. This is what I did on Sundays before I set up the current system. And this was working through a book called Spiritual Health Check. So I made this is my spiritual health notes, and I worked through a chapter a week. And this was a book I think I made actually from a big sheet of cartridge paper, and stuck in lots of little journaling cards and stickers and so on to give myself space to write each. Oh, I don't seem to have done that one. Anyway, that was that, and that was using some scrapbook paper from the Simple Stories Faith range, which I really, really like, and some of the stickers that went with that as well. This is the prayer planner, so this is just a revision planner from Tesco, and as I say, I just use one of these sheets every week. I rip it out, cut off the coil bit and punch it to go in my Happy Planner. And then finally, this is my actual journaling Bible. So I have the Inspire Bible. This is the New Living Translation Bible. It's not my absolute favourite translation, but it's perfectly fine. And I do really like this. I like the combination of things to colour. So this one you can see is the word trust that I've coloured in just using coloured pencils, but also blank spaces. So here's one that I've just done with some stickers and some stencils and a little bit of journaling. You know, occasional full page illustrations. but more often just down the side of the margin. When I have really been doing this a lot, what I've most enjoyed is doing my own illustrations. Let me show you. So this is Exodus 19, where they're at the foot of Mount Sinai. And this was the verse that was printed in the side. If you will obey me, you will be my own special treasure. And I really wanted to do something that conveyed the terror that the people were feeling, the thunder and the lightning, and all the people trembled. And so I did this kind of very dark and graphic, and there's, you know, there's words, but there's metallics and there's paints, and you know, that's where I really enjoy Bible learning, is where I can get really creative with it. I do have stuff that's, you know, this is a sort of tip in from Illustrated Faith, and I do the things that are just there, but I really love when I can get out the paints and the stamps and the pens and do it myself. I want to show you last Advent I was reading through the Minor Prophets, and I made a real point of trying to do as much Bible journaling through that as I could. So you can see this is Joel. The day of the Lord is near and terrible. Return to the Lord your God. And something I really want to say, I'm in the UK, and I do quite often see people in the UK lamenting the fact that it's much harder to get Bible journaling products here. As I said earlier, you can get stuff from the US, but it's really expensive by the time you've added in the shipping. There are some products you can get in the UK. In my Traveller's Notebook here, I used, these are from a kit from a company called Cheerfully Given, and they do a little Bible journaling kit. I've also bought Christian washi tape in the UK from a company called Christian Bits. So, you know, you can get things here and there, but it's not brilliantly easy to get a whole load of stuff. But what I wanted to say is you can do really great Bible journaling without specialist products. So these are all stamps and stickers and pens and paints that are just from normal craft shops. Most of this is from Hobbycraft or Amazon or Ryman's. You know, you do not need a lot of specialist kit to be able to produce really lovely Bible journaling pages. And actually, it's not about producing really lovely pages, is it? It's about spending time with the Lord in his word. So I will be showing you more of the Bible. The stuff that went wrong. I think this is a really ugly page. But you know what? It's okay. I was thinking about the Lord and his word when I was doing it. It is what it is. Like, and it bleeds through really badly on the other side. I slightly gave that up as a bad job. Yeah, we don't have to get caught up on this has to be lovely. We just have to spend time with God in his word. And however we do that, whatever ends up on the page, that will be what is of benefit to us. This is from Donor, and you can see I really haven't done very much here. I just took 2 or 3 coloured pens, I have a lot of felt tips, and used them to create a sort of C effect. And then some stickers, and then just at the top here, just a little bit of writing one of the verses that had really struck me, salvation comes from the Lord alone, and then colouring in the picture on the other side. Here I used a little tip in, and I think I did, yeah, a little bit of journaling on the back, another little piece of vellum stuck in there. Here I did some, you can see this is just, there's a few stickers here, but a lot of this is just me writing and using a highlighter, and over here writing in there. Because I tend to, when I'm doing my writing, my daily Bible reading, I take notes in my faith planner. I don't really do a lot of just note taking in here. But what I will do sometimes, if there's a verse that particularly strikes me or gives me a sense of an image or something that I want to do, I'll make a note of it in my daily faith planner. And then Sunday afternoons tends to be when I have a bit more time to get all the paints and the pens and so on out. And that might be when I come back to that verse and work on it in the Bible a bit more. Those stickers are way too heavy. Those are chipboard stickers, and you can see they're way too heavy to use in your Bible. Don't do that. So there we go. So those are all the different things that I'm using at the moment. I'm going to do, as I say, some slightly more in-depth videos, particularly walking you through the Traveller's Notebook and the Faith Planner. But I do also plan to do some more videos, possibly some process videos, and talking you through what I do with the Journaling Bible as well. So I hope you'll join me for those. Thanks for watching.